Hey, Nick Collier here, and we've got a kind of a fun little project coming up. This is going to be a semi-freebie, actually. Every year around January, Nevada City has a wild and scenic tour and movie tour, actually. And so a bunch of filmmakers come into town, and they do a whole weekend of back-to-back wild and scenic films, which is cool. And one of the promoters called me up and said, hey, can you make a barrel, a burn barrel? Because we're going to have Commercial Street closed down for that weekend, and we want to have big burn barrels in the middle of the street so people can warm their hands, because it's a little cold up in here in Nevada City. So I'm like, hey, that's a good idea. And she says, well, you got to do it for free. She says, but if and when we sell them, you can get a percentage of the profit. And I went, oh, yeah, that's fine. I'll just do it for free and not even worry about that part, because probably, you know how those things go. If you start counting on them, they're going to be, they're not going to happen. So what my plan was, and this is pretty much the size of a regular steel burn barrel, and I'm going to cut it down to, she said it wants to be about knee high. So that's going to be, about this big, and it's going to have little stands on it so it doesn't burn the pavement. But the problem is when you cut a burn barrel, you have this ragged edge around the top where the torch cut the metal, and it's not sharp or anything like that, but it doesn't look good. So my plan is to come in with some pieces of 2.5 inch, and I happen to have a bunch of this stuff laying around that I purchased a while back and got the wrong size. And then what I want to do is come in and cut it at 22.5 degrees and end up with 8 segments. So an octagonal shape that'll sit on top of this raw edge of the can. Now, of course, last night I want to, tweak it out just a little bit more and make it kind of a little cuter. And by the way, there's 2 other artists making 2 other barrels too. So, I want to look better than they do. So I don't think that'll be a problem. So anyhow, what I want to do, and I probably can show you better right here, is I want to not only cut it at a 22.5 degrees, which will make this 45, 45, 45, 45, 45 around 8 sides, but I want to rotate the rim so that it's just at a slight angle. So my guess is if I cut this at, instead of 22.5 degrees, cut it at 20 degrees, I'll end up with that rotation. So we're going to take, I've cut 2 of these now, so I want to cut 6 more, and then we'll come back in and recut the corners so that they fit. So follow along, and we're going to have some fun. All right, back to the Power Hacksaw. Here we are cutting 10-inch segments off of the piece of strap, which travels all the way back. That's kind of what I had in mind right here. You can see that the edge is off the ground, just off the picture plane, you might say, just slightly. Let's bring it over here and see what it looks like on the can itself. Yeah, that's going to look good. That's going to be a real nice edge for the top of that can. So we just keep plugging forward and see how it goes. Nick Collier here. I don't know, it's about 5:30 in the morning. It's dark out still. It's January 2014, and I totally neglected to film the construction of this burn barrel. I can't believe it. But I did, and it's done. It's ready to go into town. In fact, I think this weekend is the film festival. But I wanted to show you kind of what I did, and you can see that what I wanted to do was I wanted to make this ring so that it could be interchangeable with, another burn barrel. If this burn barrel ever rotted out, or you burnt through, or got filled with water and rusted out, which can happen, although I did punch a hole in the bottom of this. then the person, whoever wanted it, whoever took it, could just pop this part off, cut another burn barrel, pop this back on, and we're all set. Now, so I built this inner circle like you saw in the video, and then I built a ring around the outside and then welded everything together. And you can kind of see that. I'll rotate that up to you there. So it's good and solid. And then I put feet on it, and you can see the bottom there, just using some old angle iron, in fact old bent up angle iron that I had laying around, which was good. I got to use that metal. It made me happy. And then I came in and sketched out some drawings of the wild and scenic. You know, why not? Here we are. Couple of trees, a bunch of rocks, as it goes around, and we'll circle around after a little while. It goes to a little waterfall, and then some trees, and you know, the whole nature scene, which is, you know, where I live, and right in the middle of the forest. And oh yeah, I signed my name. Why not? It's a piece of art. Why not? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to build a fire. And it's still dark out. So you'll be able to see what this thing is going to do. And notice that I pre-cut my wood. Now imagine this thing sitting in the middle of the street on Commercial Street in Nevada City. And imagine it people walking up to it and, oh, you know, I want to warm my hands. And, you know, don't worry about the smoke, because the skylight in this barn is open, mostly because I do a lot of welding, and I need to open it up to get rid of the smoke, thus the smoke. So we're going to let this thing crank up a little bit before we actually turn the lights out, and you get to see actually what's going to happen here. Already it's warm, of course. All right. Come on, baby, kick it in. Yeah, a little bit more, and I think we'll have ourselves a fire going. And you get just a little bit of sparkles right now. Now imagine that fire is going to be much bigger. And we're going to start turning out some lights. Isn't that cool? No, I don't even know if you can see it in the camera. Well, hopefully you can. Hang on, we're going to disconnect here, and then we'll walk around the barrel and get the different views. It's going to be a little shaky because I'm standing in the dark here. You can see a couple of trees, a couple of rocks. We've got a couple of more rocks, and I tried for a little bit of a river right there. Big tree trunk and a pond, some distant mountains, and on and on. Now we're going to kind of come up and look down into the center of the fire. Oh, isn't that cute? My gosh, it's a fire of all things. And people are going to stand around and warm their hands. So I think it's going to be kind of cool. Let me turn some lights back on. As soon as I can stumble my way through here. There we go. Oh, yeah, let's take some views of the outside without the darkness. And you can kind of see, I just took the torch and blasted through the metal. It worked out pretty well. So anyhow, this is Nick Collier. We got the barrel stove, or the barrel burner finished. It's going to be delivered to Film Festival. It takes off throughout the weekend. Come on up and visit the Wild and Scenic. It's a kind of a cool thing.